Hey everybody, Mr. Bierbauer here with another art lesson. This week we're going to be learning about a new artist. His name is James Rizzi. This is a picture of him right here with a car that is covered in his artwork. This week you'll only need your paper, your pencil, and whichever color and materials you have. So of course we're going to start with our artist promise. Remember, as artists we will always try our best, respect ourselves, our friends, and our artwork, take responsibility, imagine new things, support each other, and of course, take time to clean up. Today, our I Can statement is I can create a bird drawing inspired by James Rizzi. And here are two examples of one I did. You're going to kind of get to decide if you want to focus just on one bird and background or if you want to focus on more than one bird. So here is a picture of one of James Rizzi's paintings of birds. It's called We Are the Birds. It was painted in 2011. How would you describe this artwork to someone else? If it was their first time seeing it, what would you tell them about it? Or if they couldn't see it, how would you explain it to them? To me, I would say, well, it's a picture with lots of birds. They're all very similar in their drawing style. They're cartoony birds, so they're not very realistic. They have lots of different colors and just some little things that make them all different. Like you can see some of their legs are going different directions or their bodies are facing different ways. But again, they're cartoon birds and he has filled up the entire painting with them. So this is James Rizzi. He was born in 1950 and he passed away in 2011. So he was about 61 years old when he passed away. He was born and he grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Who else do we remember who was from New York? Jean-Michel Basquiat. Perfect. He was a pop artist, a painter, a sculptor, and a graphic designer. And y'all, pop art is another type of art. It was really popular when he was alive. Like in the 1950s and 60s, it became popular. And that was when they would take things that we might see ordinary stuff and turn it into artwork. So like when we saw those soup cans, that was an example of pop art. And he also did a lot of cityscapes, which are landscapes in the city, and they were all inspired by New York City because that was his favorite place in the world. So here's a closer up view of some of those birds in that last big painting. So again, you can see they're all very similar. They are different colors. Some of them are exactly the same, just different colors. Like in the bottom row, there's two in the middle. There's one that's like a very light blue-green, like a cyan, and there's a pink right beside it, and they look exactly the same, but they're just different colors. Oh, and their legs are a little different. So you can see they're all very simple drawings, but he has given all of them a little bit of a personality. If we look at them, we can tell a little bit about them. And then he has a cool background where he has lots of different types of colors, and it's a little more abstract. Here's one of his called Lovebirds. You can see, again, they're similar shapes to the last birds. They're not exactly the same, but they're very simple shapes. But they have a lot of personality. And he did a neat background there. Not a lot of details, but enough to show us what all was going on behind them. Here's another, this one is a family quarrel. If you don't know, a quarrel is like a fight. Like maybe this family is angry at each other. And one thing you can tell here that we couldn't see in the others, some of his work were just flat paintings and drawings. Some of them are a little bit 3D. So if you look behind, especially the two, I guess that might be the mom and the dad or the parents, you can see there's shadows behind them because they're actually maybe another piece of paper that's stuck out in front. And so you can see these ones all have personalities too. They're grumpy or sad or mad. And even the background, you've got a sun and a moon, and they're sad too. So I'm actually just going to show you step by step on here how to draw your picture. I'm going to show you how to just draw one of the really big birds. But then if you like that, you can decide if you want to draw more than one or just focus on a background. So I did mine in Sharpie so we could see it, but I would suggest using your pencil first. The first thing you're going to do is just start with two eyes right in the middle of your paper, kind of towards the top. It's just two circles with two dots inside. You can color the dots all the way in, or you can leave a little bit of white showing like a reflection there. And then after that, you're going to put two little dots right underneath for nostrils. And if this is too slow for y'all, you can just fast forward through as you go, but I will talk and explain each step. After that, you're going to put kind of an upside down U shape for the top of the head, all the way across. If you want a skinny head, it'll be a smaller U. If you want a big wide head, it'll be bigger. And then a V from the point of one U to the other point, just to make your beak and the rest of your face. So now we have the bird's face. After that, we're going to start adding a body. So you can do a line, a curvy line going off to one side. If you want your bird to be facing the other direction, you would just have your line go opposite, and then a big curvy line underneath to close up that body. So it's like one swoop, and then a big swoop going back around. And you can see it goes from one side of the face to the other. After you have that, you can start adding some details, like little feathers on top, just straight lines, or bent lines, curvy lines, however you want. And then the bottom, you can give it feet. I didn't have a lot of room, so I have one foot, one leg going straight down and one bent off to the side, like maybe he's standing on one foot. You could have yours going straight down. They could both be out however you want. I'll show you some more in a second. And then for the wing, it's just going to be kind of a zigzaggy line across. And that's your basic bird. Let me show you a couple things you can do with those birds, and then you guys can get to work. So if you look at my first one, I just did one of the nice big ones, and I did a little bit of a background. You can do backgrounds however you want. A lot of times James Rizzi would put faces on things that didn't even have faces. So like I put a big face on my sun up there. I could have put a face on the cloud or the flower if I wanted to. I added a little bit of different types of colors for my bird. So I colored it mostly yellow, but I used a little bit of a yellow-orange up in the top for feathers and for his beak and for his wing. And then just little bits of background. You don't have to make a very detailed background. And then if you look at my second one, if you want to do more than one, I kind of put these like maybe they're standing on the telephone wire. And the big thing I tried to make sure I did was I made mine go in different directions. Some of my birds have, instead of a swoopy body, they have an angle like the orange one in the top. And I made all their feet look different, and I made their faces look a little different. So maybe they have some different personalities. Like I think maybe the one in the bottom under the yellow one, it looks like he's maybe anxious because he's got his legs bent together and he's got kind of a sad looking face, where some of the other ones look different. So for your assignment, I want you to go on and do at least one of these birds. If you do one big one, make sure to do some background. If you do some smaller ones, you don't have to have as much background. You can see I kind of did just some color to fill it up. I could have done sky or clouds, but I didn't want to really distract from my birds. So just make sure you have your bird or birds and get some more details with them, because the birds themselves aren't super detailed, so you do have to add some other things to make them more interesting. But I hope you guys really enjoy this. I thought these birds were super cute, and I cannot wait to see what you come up with. All right, thanks, y'all. Bye.